They're guys. They do magic. They are the Magic Guys.
What's up, Josh?
What's up, Doug? And what's
Doing
up,
Magic
viewers?
Guys.
Welcome. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you way too early in the podcast.
No, it's time. We just start interrupting right away.
Yeah, things to come, people. Oh, what's up? Welcome to the next episode of the Magic Guys. I think this is episode 88. And how the heck have we made it this far? But it's good to see you, Doug.
Nice
We
to
missed
be
you
back.
last week.
I missed
And,
being here, but only a little bit because I was in pain and I wasn't missing much of anything. So, whatever.
Yeah, that sucks. That does suck.
Getting old sucks. That's what I'm learning every year. But hey, for an old guy, I'm still doing pretty good.
You're doing great, man. You were doing great.
No
You're
complaint.
showing all the old guys, as you say, out there.
Living the
How
dream.
young you can be.
I need some new parts. We'll get there.
Do you notice, like, as you get older, your hands change with playing cards?
Yeah,
Like
for
the
sure.
moisture and-
Like the dryness is definitely a factor. Here's the working tip from an old guy. This is O'Keefe's working hands.
Oh, damn.
Certainly for the colder weather when you get that kind of dry, cracky skin, but this is the stuff. O'Keefe's working hands. I've tried a lot of things. It's the jam.
Nice. I remember Chris Kenner talking about some weird vaginal cream that he was recommended to try.
I remember that. I've heard we must be listening to the same things.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. And he was like, yeah, this gives you the perfect or he was told. And he's like, it did, but the smell was just super weird, so he stopped it.
Yeah.
And then there was like a whole arc to that story about how. Do you remember this? Like the actual story that went with it?
I'm wondering if it had to do with Homer Leewag's dry hands. Was that connected?
So you may as well, you guys may as well watch the episode. But the brief story was Kayla Morelli was working with Copperfield and Kenner and stuff at that time. And Kenner had tried this vaginal cream, didn't like it, put it in his office desk, for months, left it there. Kayla Morelli is doing magic to this guy. And he said, what would you like to see? And the guy just went, I don't know, if you could pull vaginal cream out of nowhere, that would be insane. And Chris Kenner heard that and knew exactly what the assignment was. Took it, walked past Kaylin, gave it to Kaylin, and Kaylin produced it. And apparently, the guy now believes in magic wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Is insane.
That's a rare request. Talk about synchronicity.
Insane. But look, we have a cool guest today, a return guest, who some of you a lot of you are excited in the Instagrams when you found out he was coming back. So let's not waste any
I'm one
time.
of those.
Yeah,
I was excited.
Me too. So let's welcome Jack Rhodes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I always do this. I always forget to change the soundtracks. All right, let's try that again. Jack Rhodes. There he is.
That is some intro, that. Some serious PNG animations going on in that intro.
No time was spared. Yes.
Josh is for hire if you need an extra editor. We were talking about sourcing your stuff out. He's ready to
The
roll.
way that Fool Us trophy came in, I was like, Marvel knit snappable. The CGI skills this guy's got. How are we doing?
Right. Could you read whose trophy it was?
I must have missed that bit. What was it?
I was going to pretend like I actually edited in your name, but I didn't. But for those who want to know, can watch it again.
It's way too much effort for this skit.
I still love the little Doug as well. The little weird animated Doug as well. That's brilliant.
Doug, oh mate, that has become a staple in our podcast now. Not only that, but also our logo. You'll notice that your animation of Doug you gave us is now part of.
Looks nice. Looks smart.
Thank you for that.
Jack is more involved in the Magic Guys than we realize. His animation work is in front of us every week.
And like an infection, just poisoned the podcast.
Yeah.
Do you work as an artist on that level in a professional capacity at all? You ever do an art?
I have done. I've done commissions and stuff. Full time, I'm an engineer, but past life, I've done stuff like that. If I were to ever go full time creative career, I probably would take up more of the art stuff because I used to do caricatures and stuff, and I was thinking like at one point it'd be quite cool to like be the magician and the caricature artist at a wedding. Like that would be, you could do two things.
Doubt. You double
in one
dip
go.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe that's something to think about.
That's a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You worked as a caricature artist, like out in the wild, or how?
Not out in the wild. More like just like going off photo reference. I used to do with the whole video production. The videos I used to start with were called. There's a TV show in England. I don't know if there's anything similar where you guys are, called Art Attack.
I remember Art Attack.
Yeah, well, I did a series called Art Attack where I would do drawings of celebrities. I do caricatures of celebrities, a little bit like your caricature, Doug. And then I would do like a bit of a roast. I do jokes about the celebrity, so it'd be a caricature roast. And the videos were good, but it's a bit of a niche video. No one's searching caricature roast, and unless you've already got like an audience there, no one's going to look at it. But that's how it started, and then I started doing the magic stuff, and that took off a little bit more. But yeah, the caricature stuff, I've always been doing drawings and like pencil drawings and sketches like that. I started doing that before magic, really. And I think having an artist's eye, so being able to look at a reference photograph and drawing it and knowing what the differences are, helps when you're doing sleight of hand, because you can see, right, this move, this is what it should look like, but I'm doing it this way. How do I get it? Like, it's a similar process in a weird way.
I've thought about doing a magic comic book. I think this would be a good learning tool. Have you ever done a comic book or approached that medium?
Yeah, a little bit. I've done, when I was a kid, I used to do comics. And
I did too, but I'm just a horrible artist. I can't draw at all, but I love comics.
I think with a comic, it's more about the idea, though. I don't think you necessarily have to be able to draw that well.
Yeah, right. So, I'm actually interested in telling the story, and the idea here is that it's a back of room for work in the street. So you have it's a day in the life of a street magician comic. And so through this comic, maybe you're doing magic and you explain a couple tricks to the reader. Maybe there's a magic experience within it. And then at the end of the day, it's a souvenir for whatever venue you're working, be it the street, that'd be cool. A nice tip and you get this, or even in the back of the theater show. I think a comic is a nice touch.
Yeah, definitely. You could actually go more than a comic and go for a cartoon. If you get Josh's PNG animations, you can make a cartoon of the comic and get Josh's lead animator.
That sounds like that's out of my budget.
Hey, anything's possible. I was quickly trying to find... I went and saw Steve Cohen's Chamber of Magic on my 30th birthday, and...
that's the coolest. That's like one of the coolest sentences I've ever heard.
Oh, it's bloody cool. But
no doubt, right?
He produced a comic book of sorts, and I have it.
He has a graphic
signed.
novel.
That's right, yeah. I couldn't find it. This is just the thing you get when you go to the show, but I couldn't find it. That's what I was trying to quickly... the thing is with our podcast is we never know what we're going to talk about, so I can never have... Unlike Doug, who seems to have everything readily available next to him.
I am surrounded by magic at reach. I designed the cave appropriately.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Except the books. If I have to get a book, it's over there.
Yeah.
We need a wide-angle lens on your studio, Doug, and just see the absolute carnage surrounding you.
There we go. Well, that's not quite, that's not the best look, but and that camera sucks. That's the close-up view. Yeah, we need a better third camera, and then we'll have that for you. Stay tuned.
That's professional, that.
Just wait for that next Facebook payout.
Yeah, they're going down. They're like not... like any good gold mine, people find out about it and the waters get muddled. Not that I'm complaining. It's still good to be me there, but
is that only available in the US, that one?
I've heard of a lot of friends, and I'm very happy that I've made recommendations to other friends who've been successful about getting monetized. Is it only available in America? That's a good question. I don't know.
I think the Instagram one is definitely for now, so I'm assuming Facebook is the same.
If it is, I can't imagine that it stays that way forever. You know,
No, I've seen comms where they said they're going to roll it out internationally, but for now it's only US, I think.
Yeah.
Bastards.
So
hey, David
keep
made
your
a good
eyes
point.
on that for sure.
Yeah. Do you remember this comic book, Doug? John Armstrong's Smoke and Mirrors?
I do. We were talking about that. I was actually going to reference Patrick Redford or George Tate. He was the first one, I think, to make groundbreaking comics that were instructionals. And he had a series of them. Their names are quite cryptic. They're hexagon or their shapes, and I can't recall their titles. But Patrick Redford, he did it right. I haven't seen John Armstrong's thing, but yeah. Obviously,
I only know of it because in that Netflix series, I think it's just called The Magicians. They follow his journey of him creating them, and he puts what's that country called, the Princess Cantrick?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was going to talk
there.
about, right? You have an effect in there, right? See, and I haven't seen that, but yeah,
it's cool.
It's a good documentary, that.
Jack, I want to ask you about this, bro. Okay, for those watching, this is a pretty crazily edited video.
Oh man, I love this one so much.
It's like it definitely went viral in my feed, and then the company that you used to make this have started pumping it out as well. Unless it's secretly your company, maybe. But look at all this. This is crazy. Look at all these transitions.
Was this a brand? Was this a brand deal for you?
Kind of. This was I did a program. There's a program called Creator Now, which was run by a YouTuber called Eric. I don't know if you know him.
All right.
There's a lot of like challenge style videos, but he does a YouTuber creator program called Creator Now, and they have like brand deals as part of it. So this was like a competition. So the Videoleap app basically said, we want you guys to come up with a video where you can demonstrate what you can do with the app in like 30 seconds. Yeah.
There you go.
And then the winner of the prize gets all this money.
$1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million, yeah. I didn't win it, but they did say we can use yours and tag it on Instagram. So it was like, I think they did quite well out of it because they had like 100 people all use the app and then basically say, oh yeah, we'll give you permission to use it. But like that whole video, that was literally like, right, I've got an idea. I want to do all this cool stuff. And they've got like a beats feature in the edit, so you can like where the timing of the drum beat is. And I was like, right, I'm just going to improvise, and then hopefully it look good when it comes to editing all together. But like that was all done on a mobile phone, so you can imagine like editing these like complex edits. Oh, it's so difficult.
Hey, that's how I got started on the LumaFusion on the iPhone. I did all my edits in year one on LumaFusion.
LumaFusion is good.
I do it. I use iPad now, iPad Air. I love it on there. I love that editing experience.
Yeah.
But how long did that take you, that video?
From start to finish, 6 hours, something like that.
6 hours.
Which is actually quicker than most videos.
Can you speak a little bit about the app that you used? Like, because I try to recommend apps to friends. I use LumaFusion, but if you don't have iOS, you're kind of screwed on that boat. So do you have app suggestions maybe? Like, would you recommend that one?
That one is quite good for like quick content, like short form stuff. But you can like,
and what is that again? Videoleap?
Videoleap. Yeah.
Okay.
But like they've got loads of like presets, so it's good for like collages. If you've got like a lot of photographs you've been on holiday, you can plug in like a preset and it'll do like in time with music with all this flashy stuff. I sound like I'm sponsored by Videoleap. I'm not, but it is quite a good app. But for all the other stuff that I do, I used to use LumaFusion, then I moved on to Final Cut. And I'm currently learning Premiere Pro, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, welcome to the Premiere boat.
So I've got the Final Cut trial on my Mac right now, but that's a deep rabbit hole. I'm leaning more towards DaVinci. Have you tested that at all? Have you?
I have. Yeah, I've done DaVinci. I would say if you are used to LumaFusion, Final Cut isn't that big a leap. I would say you're in good stead starting with.
All right then.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll probably just stay that route.
And also, Doug, DaVinci is free.
Hey, I love that. But I also love Mac products, so I'm a sucker for the Mac universe in all fashions.
Same.
Well, I don't want to tempt you or anything, but that little intro we did at the start with the PNGs was in Premiere Pro, so look at that.
Well, if that is the quality to be expected, I need to get on Premiere Pro straight away.
Yeah, and you know, I made that in 5 minutes, like literally just before I jumped
You
on.
can't tell.
Thank you. The most quality thing in there is your debauchery of Doug. That's in the intro.
Time well spent.
Yeah, we got a few people in the chat that are using similar things. David's saying he uses DaVinci. That's great.
I was ready to go
No
with
one else
that before I switched to the Mac. I was like, sure, that was the way I was going to go. And then I switched to the Mac. And now I'm thinking Final Cut's the answer. It just makes sense.
If you've got a Mac, Final Cut isn't a no-brainer, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think, you know, ideally in the end, yep, that's the best. He's just showing us his editing skills now, Jack.
It's a vanish. It's a Rhodes vanish. Point. See, that was good. He's back.
See that?
That was
Premiere Pro for you. That was a little demo.
That's what we thought. That's what we appreciate. Patrick uses iMovie, the classic iMovie on the Mac.
I made many a film with iMovie in the day.
But he says, I don't even have a computer. Well, that's class, man.
Yeah, interesting.
That's class. Well, yeah, ideally the program you really want to end up using is Fiverr, where you employ someone to do it for you. We were just talking about that off air. That's this editing thing is really what takes the time, right?
Yeah, and I do think video production, I think, is going to become more and more important. Like you look at anything content-wise, it's all video basically. Instagram is becoming a video app. I think even just like for your CV, for normal jobs, being able to produce video content and having that understanding is going to be massive. I read an article that was like having a big social media following is almost looked at for like a creative career more importantly than having a degree in a certain subject. Like this whole like we're just at the start of it now. This whole video production and social media side is just it's insane, just exploding. Right? Yeah, I heard that
there's a thing going around that Instagram wants to have a For You page now, just like TikTok, where that will be the primary feed. And I saw it because apparently Kim Kardashian is running a campaign against them doing it, but they want to basically become like TikTok so that they can have this massive feed. Doug's grinning like this is a.
Of course, the meaningless content creators don't want open like. You know, that's the thing about TikTok's algorithm. They'll throw anything at you and give them a chance. You know, Instagram's going to be a little more selective, of course.
Yeah. Well, I think all the creators that have spent their time building an audience, they're the ones that are pissed, you know, because anyone that has millions and millions of followers has now got to make good content. But yeah, it's crazy. And you know what's crazy now too is I went out and did street magic the other day. And I got my cameraman to hold the camera sideways because I knew it was going to be edited as a vertical video. So there was no point in filming it this way. Like no point at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's weird that's the new standard, isn't it? That is an odd concept.
It's so annoying because it's horrible for video, in my opinion. But it's the way that people will watch it.
Now, there's still room for great long form content. I think YouTube's going to be on televisions at least for the next 20 years, and they'll adapt as time goes on, as they are right now, moving into the vertical age with shorts. So that's good. Long form's going nowhere.
For sure. But like, if I record something horizontally, it's going to be great for YouTube, but I can't use it in any of the other 3 places.
You know, I think if you just shoot wide and get the best camera you can.
I think YouTube and long form is definitely like the long term.
For me, if I'm looking at any job security with my efforts, it's got to be that long term. Like I can't think, okay, Facebook is paying me this month. Not even sure they'll pay me next month, much less 2 years from now. Who knows what's going on with the Wild West? But I bet YouTube's going to be there plugging along.
I don't think TikTok is going to be there for long, and not because of the way it is, but I think because the China implications, the security implications that keep going on. I can't see that holding up. I don't know.
Well, Trump tried to get rid of it once before, right?
He did, yeah.
Boy, that was tentative. That was I don't know even the right adjective, but that was a tightrope part of my life. Then I go all in on the TikTok, and now, if they get rid of it, I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. But fortunately, I adapted to other platforms. We were talking about how great Instagram is in particular, I think what we're doing. Maybe a guy who does a minute presentation doesn't work as well on TikTok. And so for me, you get an audience that's a little more receptive to the arts on something like Instagram. It's a better life for a content creator there.
Yeah. Podcasts are definitely received much better on YouTube these days, I think, than even like, Spotify and stuff, because I come here for my podcast if I'm at the gym, because I can turn my phone off and the audio will keep playing. If I hear something funny, I can flick it on and I can see the video. I know Spotify has started doing video, but most other guys I listen to.
Yeah, my understanding is YouTube, they're putting a lot of focus on their podcasting section of their app. It's becoming more and more of a thing. And a lot of experts say this is what really people should be doing. Certainly if you're starting in this field and want to get some traction, if you're like on ground zero, don't know what to do, start a podcast, do a video podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get someone amazing like Mika. He can make those short form videos.
There you go. Exactly that.
Amongst
right.
it.
You chop it up and move it around.
A lot of podcasts have taken off, haven't they? We're just having the clips as short form and then a quick link at the end. Yeah. I see it all the time.
That's what I was saying before. That's what I'm trying to do with my thing. It's like, hey, here's what I did on YouTube today. Come take a look at the long form, and just give them a minute of what happened.
Yeah. If I wasn't doing full-time magic and I was trying to find another job, what I would do is I would start making short form videos for content creators and send them to them and be like, yo, I can make this stuff. This is how much it costs. If you did that every day, you would have, I think, a full catalog of clients like in no time, because everyone wants that person, but no one believes that they can make content. Like no one thinks they have their same vision, right? And that they'll not know how to edit it. But I don't think anyone's doing that, like going out of their way to just make it for someone, send it to them. It's a good
suggestion. And in this day and age, as it's becoming more and more important and less people have these skills that need them, there should be a wide market of opportunities for the entrepreneur for these things.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I need a new camera, never mind an editor.
What's going on there, Mr. Rhodes? You don't know?
I've hooked up to my Sony camera and it just keeps flicking on and off. So I've had to, I'm on the Mac camera, so I have to put up with a poorer quality.
At least it's a podcast.
It should be stable.
So
it looks good. It's fine.
Yeah. You still have more of a tan than me, and you live in the UK, so you're doing.
It's the orange filter I've got on.
Ah, right.
It's not really.
I got the ghost filter on.
That Casper filter.
Casper filter, the cap filter. That's what I'm talking about.
How shiny is my forehead though? Like now, this is ridiculous.
That's good. I have a second monitor now. I can see the podcast.
Don't speak to me about monitors. Do you remember last time I came on here? My monitor was smashed.
Oh, that's right.
I do remember. Have you since repurchased that, or?
I have not. I've just got used to editing on 2/3 of the screen. Yep.
Oh no.
See, gear doesn't matter. You just make it work.
You work with what you've got, and then when you can afford it, upgrade. But it's if you just bought all the gear from the very beginning, you'd never learn how to use it properly. You've got to incrementally. I think it's the same with magic. You've got to gear up as you learn, as you go along.
Yeah,
makes total sense.
If you guys are asking again, as always, where's Jason? I was telling Jack this, but I don't think I told you, Doug. I mean, you saw it in the chat. Jason's bloody got himself some COVID, and but he's on the ship, so unfortunately he has to stay on that ship in quarantine. So that's where he is today, my friends.
I'd like to think he's entered the realm of bare knuckle boxing, and somewhere in like Thailand, he's going Rambo style, eking out a living hardcore. That's what I think's going on. but that's just for me.
Secretly, that's what's happening.
It's a sexier story than being sat alone in his cabin, coughing and spluttering. Definitely.
Yeah. Hey, Bob's got a good question here. He wants to know when Jack is going to make an appearance on Oprah.
I tell you what, at this rate, Bob is going to start a petition trying to get me on Oprah. Certain people comment, try to get me on different shows. There's another guy who tried to get me on Alan Carr Chatty Man, which is a UK show.
Yeah.
And Bob's thing is Oprah. I might just do it just for him. I just send it to him and never upload it.
Make it like his own personal cameo video.
Yeah. Or edit Bob on Oprah. I think that's really what he wants. That's his. That's what will fulfill the dream. Edit Bob possible on Oprah. Send him that video, and then finally he might say, "All right, yep, happy with that now."
That's what I was going to ask. Do people ask if you can do those videos, but with them in it?
Oh yeah, well, you know what it's like with any skill. Like people will be like, "Oh, can you just do that for us?" Not realizing how many hours of effort it goes into doing something like that. It's like, "Oh, can you put me on Can you put me on Love Island?" It's like, well, not really.
Maybe that's a niche market for you, is superimposing people onto shows. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. David David has a good question. What are your long-term goals after blowing up with the parody videos? Because they've been doing well. I've seen it, but what's the next step?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the parody videos are like, historically it's been editing myself on talent shows, America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent. And I think the reason they do well is because initially people click on them thinking they are the real thing. Like the thumbnail is quite convincing, the intro is quite convincing, and they're edited in a way that initially it takes a little bit to spot that it's not real. And then I start doing daft stuff where I'm doing this and I'm getting a standing ovation. And then I think people start to realize, but like I can't keep doing them. I said to myself, I'll only do it again if I have a good idea. And then I had a good idea. But the last one was I got an artificial intelligence bot to write the script for it. So you know these AI bots that will generate like movie scripts, and it's absolute nonsense. I was like, I wonder if I do that, if it'll still go viral. And it did. And I'm going to do an explanation video on how that worked. But to me, this isn't.
Was it magic themed?
Yeah, it was magic themed. I was.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this AI stuff, but there's a website called shortlyai.com. And you put in like a sentence. So you put in Jack Rhodes walks on the stage of America's Got Talent. Then you press write for me. So you click that, you give it a second, and it starts generating all this text. And it writes a story for you. So you can do like a short story. This, like, I can see like students using it for like dissertations and all sorts. If ever you want to do a script for a YouTube video, put like a little rough idea, put it in this AI generator, and it sends out a script. Now, half the time, it's absolute bollocks. Like this audition for America's Got Talent, some of them were like, Jack makes a broomstick appear, and then a mop appears behind Simon Cowell, and the audience starts clapping. And I'm reading it thinking, this is absolute garbage. But some of them were quite good. But I picked the funny ones. So one of them was ask Simon to name any card, and then the AI goes, right. So the AI says, right, Simon Cowell names the 7 of hearts. Jack fans through the cards. He starts chucking them up, and he catches one card. And it's the 7 of spades. It's the wrong card. But the audience goes wild, standing ovation. And it was like, this doesn't make any sense. So then I filmed it, did the whole thing, had Simon name a card, then picked the wrong card. And no one spotted that it was like written by this bot. They were just like, why did he get the golden buzzer? I don't understand what's happening. Like, it's
so
absolute.
weird.
It is weird.
Interesting project. I love it.
Yeah, well, and then I was planning on doing something where, like, I wonder if I could go out and perform magic tricks that have been written by artificial intelligence and see if they work. But I don't think AI, like I've done a few, AI doesn't quite understand what comprehends a magic trick.
Yeah, right. That's a weird area for AI.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of open possibilities here. Like, could someone do a pickup artist show about that? Like writing lines to impress women with AI.
Yeah.
You know?
You can literally do anything. You could do like a short story. There's 2 options. Write a story or write an article. And you pick on whichever one you want. So for my thing, I went for a story, but you could literally do like anything. This AI thing is mental. And no one's heard of it.
What I want now is like an AI with all the card moves, and then you have a plot or something. You just say, I want to do this trick. And it just says, well, here's the best Most
Yeah.
efficient, you need a second Diella pass and a double lift. Or,
We know what's what's really
potential.
scary. What's really scary is this image creating AI, where you can type. That's what it is. Was it Dolly?
I've played with that one.
Yeah.
I've played. That's a little too surreal. The results I've got, although maybe you got to play with it a little more than I did.
Yeah, like the idea of it.
I was going to get the AGT parody thumbnail created by Dolly, so I typed in "America's Got Talent Golden Buzzer audition," and the images it generated were like horrific, like stuff you'd seen in nightmares. It's like no one's going to click on that. But it would have been good to have the entire thing made by AI.
Yeah, for those listening, the idea is that you in text you describe a picture, and then this AI will create it for you. And I believe what they want it to be able to do is, in the examples they give, you can upload a picture and it will create like multiple versions of that picture, like different angles and things like that. Which is crazy.
And sometimes it's really good, and then sometimes it's awful. But the times when it hits is like mind blowing.
Yeah.
I didn't really answer the question though with the long-term strategy. Anyway, the parody stuff. So, yeah, I can't see myself doing a parodies all the time. I think they are good for bringing in new viewers, but I don't want to be relying on them like long-term. So I will sort of be shifting towards away from the parody stuff and more towards like nice idea generated stuff. So the thing I'm working on recently is I'm getting a mate of mine who's never done magic before. And in 30 days, he's going to go out on the streets and perform street magic, David Blaine style. So it's documenting the journey of someone who's never done magic before. Can they become essentially a pro level magician in 30 days? So it's like a 4-week challenge. And at the end of each week, there's going to be a new challenge. So it'll be 4 videos, 1 for each week, documenting the whole thing. The first week, he has to do like a trick to a friend. The second week, well, I filmed it all, so mild spoilers. But the second week, I roped him in to do a 10-minute act on a stage show after 2 weeks into learning magic. And I got him to do it, and I was almost like to the point where I was like, this is almost like a prank thing because I feel so bad putting this pressure on him. Like, he was so nervous, but he was so buzzing afterwards. And we've just finished week 4 where he's gone out and done the street magic. I won't give away anything that happens, but that's the sort of thing that I can see with the right packaging doing quite well. And that's really what I want to be doing. I want to sort of move away from the parodies where I can. I'll still do the odd one because they're good for bringing in viewership, but that's the sort of big ideas I want to be sort of chasing now. Stuff that hasn't been done before. Stuff that's like thinking outside the box. I remember like last time, Jason was taking a mick a little bit, saying that because I mentioned about street magic, and he was like, it's all been done before. It's all been done. But I'm like, no, that's a challenge. Let's find something new that hasn't been done then. So this thing where it's like, all right, street magic, but from a guy who's literally been doing magic for 30 days. Let's see how he does. Stuff like that. Because I don't think quite like magic has not been tapped into on YouTube or video platforms the way it still can be. I think stuff
as a performance art, it has not.
Definitely.
You know what I was happy to see, although a little disappointed, but still happy to see Piff the Dragon's full comedy special released onto YouTube. It's like, here's an hour, full edited, great production. I was just a little disappointed in the magic, but that's me. That's a magician's brain working, right? Like, he had Penn on there as his dad. Did you guys see the thing? I'm sure you did, huh?
It's funny. I haven't watched it.
Still to watch it.
Yeah, but I was excited to see a full special coming out.
Yeah. But this is, I think, proving that there is an audience for even our specials, but certainly to bring a full theatrical style presentation to YouTube.
Yeah.
Variety artists.
Because we had just spoken with Wes Barker about how it's really hard to go somewhere and watch a full magic special anywhere these days. And then Piff brought that out, and I was like, oh, damn. I hit him up about it. He's like, yeah, man, I'm pitching mine every day to Netflix and stuff. But even comedy is evolving too. Like, I don't know if you guys follow Andrew Schulz at all. Big comedian in the US, and there was a little story with him where he filmed a special, cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and one of the streaming networks bought it from him but then wanted to edit out some of the jokes because they were just too crazy for their platform. And he went, no, F that. And he bought the special back from them.
Wow.
And then he used Moment House, which is a website where you can host a watch party for something like a special. And he put it out. So he put it out independently for his viewers and followers and stuff to support him and buy it. And he ended up making more money doing that in the end. And now he owns, he didn't have to edit anything. It did over.
I think that's going to revolutionize stand-up comedy specials. Definitely, that's a massive baller move. Yeah,
like
definitely.
Given he has a massive following with his Flagrant podcast and his YouTube and everything, but he made like over $1 million in pre-sales before it even came out.
Yeah, crazy.
As the technology is more accessible and the gear is more affordable, more and more individuals, artists will go to do their own thing, and TV, professional television will become less of a thing. No doubt about it. I'm sure in 10 years, we're just all going to be live on the internet all the time. Like, I think live video is the end game.
It's almost like the decentralization of performing arts. It's like the crypto of magic is
live
we're
video.
all going to be doing our own thing rather than being owned by or being on network TV, that sort of thing. The only challenge is, I think, obviously live performances don't ever translate as well on camera as they do in person. So the live, that's probably like what you're saying, Doug, with Piff's show. Like you're watching it and it's never as good seeing it on a screen as it is in person.
And so that's magic is always that way across the board, no matter who you are.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But this is where I think if you can do stuff that only translates on camera. So if you've got that in mind, that's where you make the most of it. Right. So this whole thing,
you can storytell better, right? Like you can, instead of having to say the origin of a trick before you do it, you can show the footage of you growing up, learning this thing, or showing the creator that, you can use those video effects and things to your advantage. Like how Derek DelGaudio's In and of Itself did, all the extra stuff that went into it made it.
Yep.
Feel
Exactly.
Like you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or it'll be like virtual reality. So it'll still feel like you're going to the theater, but you're just putting on a virtual headset and now you're in one of the seats at the theater.
We've talked about this briefly. Is there a magic show in the virtual world, in the metaverse? I think there is.
I'm so annoyed because before COVID, that was an idea in my head. I was like, wouldn't it be funny for like a fringe show if there is an actual theater and people do come into the theater, but I'm not even there. It's like a show that's already been made, but they come and sit down and they feel like they can see a show on. And I was like, but I'm not even to 1% decided to make it a real thing. But if I freaking had, and then COVID hit, I could have had, a sellout amount of shows, but, from people's homes.
Yeah. I've got a list of video ideas that are like dream ideas that one day I'd love to get to. And magic in the metaverse is one of them. I think that the first person who does that, it will take off. If you can figure out.
Did we talk about this last time you were here? Did we talk? Do you recall? Okay.
Don't think so.
You think it's viable, huh?
As a one-off interesting YouTube video, yeah. As a actual performing platform, I'm not so sure. It takes it because you would never trust if what you're seeing is a result of the magician or a result of the technology. I think is the issue. Yeah. You'd have to have someone who has a deep understanding of the technology to be able to differentiate between what is the trick and what is actually just them manipulating whatever app they're using. I think is the issue.
Yeah. Unless you're, reading someone's mind or, affecting something that's in their personal space, it becomes a bit more believable. Like I've noticed in Zoom shows, mind reading effects hit pretty well because it's still, whether you're doing it on a camera or in real life, it's still pretty impressive.
Yeah. So what's the metaverse version? Guessing what the IP address is. It's not quite, doesn't quite hit the same.
Your Bitcoin password.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some room to present optical illusions, where the viewer is watching something that tricks the eye, but in reality, by watching the video, If that makes sense. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of like the Jerry Andrus swirling illusion, where you watch this and then your hand grows. So, the viewer
Your
can
hand,
get a,
yep.
Yeah. But it's almost like
you got to go there, brother.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you're at home now, you don't have to
Yeah,
be
right.
polite and
Of course.
put your hand
You got
up.
the OnlyFans show, and then you got the YouTube show. And different things grow depending. All right, Bob, there's your new act.
Yeah.
Get on Oprah with that.
The other thing that, you know what, going in that direction just for a second, the other thing it allows you to do is do shows like the shows that we watch on TV now that people really are encaptured by are the really far out ones, like The Boys that Doug was mentioned to me a little while back, and then I started watching it, where superheroes, as are just doing the most debauchery stuff, but that's what we want to see.
Such a good show.
Yeah, or like Game of Thrones, there's the most craziest stuff happening in there, but that's what we want to see. So I wonder if it just gives people a platform to do magic in a way that just shouldn't be done, but makes people want to see that stuff, like stuff that would just shock you. And maybe it's a platform that lets you do it, because I don't know.
Interesting.
It's the wild
Who
west.
knows?
That's it. If anyone's going to do anything with it, though, it's going to be Bob Possible. I can already see him being excited, going, yes. He'll be the first to do some kind of debauchery naked magic show, I'm sure.
He has actually sent me a video that is very similar to what we're talking about, but I'll leave it there. But Bob knows.
Yeah, but imagine watching that live, that's...
I'm not sure you'd want to watch Bob's video live.
What about a virtual magic shop? You could go in the magic store and kind of look around, and things are on shelves, and maybe you click on the demos and watch the demo video, and then you could have a little shopping experience. That's probably a viable thing.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Provided there's enough magicians in the metaverse, that's the only thing. Is the cost of setting that up worth the 5 people that are going to visit the shop? You'd have to wait a few years, I think, wouldn't you?
We'll see. I was happy this week to the Shopify platform integrated with YouTube, and I have now built what will become the Doug Con Magic Store on YouTube. So if you click on my store link, here I am promoting my thing, you can actually buy products right from YouTube. It takes you to Shopify.
Wow.
In my opinion, this is a game changer for anyone that's in the retail business at all. But certainly if you're demonstrating magic tricks for sale, it's nice to have a little button right below your video that says buy it here.
That's pretty amazing. I know
it is. They had limited it to Teespring merchandise before, so you could only buy T-shirts. And now it's anything on Shopify, except I learned this, books are not allowed. So like I have a few digital books.
Oh.
They didn't, Google just did not allow the Insta buy those. There's some things. I guess they're trying to avoid some nefarious sales.
Like ebooks and stuff.
Yeah, that and maybe videos too.
And does that show up on, is that purely long form, or does that show up on short form as well?
So I'm not sure about the short form, but I think it does. I think, it shows up like if you're watching one of my videos in vertical, right on the bottom, there's going to be a row of magic tricks for you to pick from now. It's there now.
Game
today.
changer.
It is a game changer.
I can imagine that for Doug's videos. Like you see Doug do a video, and then at the bottom are the items you can purchase to learn what he's doing.
We'll find out. I just opened it up like 2 days ago. So
yeah. What's the fine line there? Like, I suppose they're paying money for it, so who cares? If they know what the materials are to learn it. But
so I'm not going to here's what I'm planning on selling: beginner's tricks. Okay, so what difference does that make?
Yeah,
if I've got 24 beginner's tricks up there and I'm selling those, is that doing anything but helping magic?
That's right. But that's what I mean. Like, there's a barrier to entry anyway for whatever the trick is, because they have to pay money for it. So it's only gonna bring the people that are invested in it anyway.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Shopify has been great for my girlfriend's business too, for horse products. She will put a post on Instagram and it tags the products as well. So
I'm very interested in integrating that. And let me tell you, for entering the Shopify universe at $5 a month to have this service available. And I had issues with some of the virtual files on my other website. Like I have a 500 megabyte file that's a problem to distribute. Well, for $5 a month on Shopify, it's available, ready to roll. I set it up in one night and have been adding things to it. It's just a breeze. So,
and the beautiful thing for Shopify, Doug, is that it can calculate shipping worldwide.
And you are hitting the nail on the head. I get so many requests for that and have to, but now it's built right in.
So now you don't have to lose money when you sell books because it will calculate the shipping.
Yeah. That's a dream come true for me. Let me tell you.
The creator economy is just booming. It's just going to grow and grow and grow.
And know this too, this service where usually these things are, you have to have a big subscriber count. You need 1,000 subscribers to access this, which is a thing, but it's a reasonable number. Well, but here's what I'm saying is that we're close to that on the Magic Guys, right? So now maybe we have a Magic Guys store, right? After a solid year or two of working, you get the opportunity to develop your business and you have reasonable goals as a content creator to sell your product. Where
you could sell Josh's PNG animation skills. Hire Josh for the store.
Hey, we could create NFTs from the PNGs, you know.
That's probably against the guidelines. But
the initial Doug drawing as an NFT, that's got to be a thing.
Yeah, right. We could put that up. Figure that out.
Yeah. Well, it's on our the one that we're using in the logo now is on our merch. You know, it's on our hoodies and stuff.
Now Jack's gonna want to cut. You ruined it all, Josh.
Well, when I sell some, when I actually sell some, we can work it out.
I know that's good too.
Yeah. Let me grab it though. I don't know if you've seen it, Jack.
Jack, how much of your daily life is creating content? Is that like something you're doing on the daily?
I would say approximately an hour or two a day is all I can afford to at the moment. Yeah.
So,
like I said, I do. Sorry, go on.
You got that. You like shoot a project and then just get to work on it hardcore. You got that vision and just put the work in.
I'm getting quite good at like picturing the end product now, and you know I spend more time planning than I ever used to, scripting. So I know exactly when I get the camera set up, what I need to film. And I tend to take a lot of takes, or used to anyway, but now it's the whole process, you get quicker and quicker with it. But as video quality goes up in terms of editing, you're just sort of moving the time from filming phase to editing phase. So I don't think I make stuff any quicker, but the quality is better, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at that. Look at that, baby.
Oh, yes.
It's on the mug. Oh, yeah. What's that? They're available at themagicguyshow.com, everyone. Yeah. I just realized the hoodie, we purposely didn't put our face on it so that people could just have one and not have to like represent the podcast. They could just have I'm a magic guy or I'm a magic girl. Yeah.
Very smart.
So no commission on that one. Yeah. Well, right now it's just through Squarespace, but you know, it's all the same at the moment because no one buys them. So, you know,
Jack, when you construct a video project, do you put any thought about like what your audience would want versus what you want to do? Like, are you creating for them or for you?
I should probably be creating for them, but I still haven't figured out my audience. I'm still in the early days of figuring out, long term what the audience is. Because if you look at the parodies, that's an entirely different audience to, for example, training someone to be a magician in 30 days. That's two very different audiences.
Okay, this is a good point, right?
Yeah, so I still think I'm figuring out exactly what the audience is. And until I know what the audience is, I can't figure out what they want. So I will just do videos that basically get me excited.
Yeah.
And then I'll because if I'm excited for it, Siri doesn't understand. If I'm excited for it, I will put the work in for it. But if it's an idea that I'm not 100% behind and I'm just doing it for the views, I can't get behind it, and I won't put in the passion it needs, and it won't be as good an output as it could be. So, but there is, at a certain point you have to go, well, people need to watch it. You can't just make stuff for yourself. That's what the Art of Jack stuff was, going full circle. That's what that was. That was just stuff for me because it was like, oh, I'll do a drawing, I'll do some jokes, and people might watch it, and then no one watched it. And as much as I liked making it for myself, there's only so long you can go making stuff without people watching it until you go, right, I want to do stuff that's sort of gets seen. Don't get me wrong, passion projects are probably the best thing. You know, even if no one sees it, if you make the best thing and you know that's the best thing, it's about your enjoyment as much as it is everybody else's. But it is nice knowing that other people can also enjoy your work as well. So there is a give and take with it. And I think until I work out exactly what my audience is and the long-term strategy is, I'm not sure yet.
I mean,
We'll see
you
how it
definitely
goes.
have the attention of the magicians, like the professional magicians, because they're seeing a lot of your parody videos about magicians, and I see them sharing it going, this is great humor. You know, this is hilarious. So it's almost, you know, that's one avenue of people I know that are watching this stuff. Like David Penn doesn't just share another magician's video unless it's really funny, you know? And I remember him sharing one of your videos and I was like, all right, this is hitting the magicians that aren't just trying to learn tricks when they first start, you know?
Yeah, which is interesting because I never intended to make stuff for magicians.
Good.
But I
Stay
think-
that course.
Yeah. Well, you limit your market, don't you? Immediately, you limit your market.
A lot.
You just make,
Yeah. And you certainly shouldn't start a podcast that's just directed at magicians.
Hey, I love the Magi. Nothing more do I love than the Magi. But
Yeah.
when it comes to like expressing yourself as an artist and being rewarded for those expressions, if you can focus on the layman, you're going to be such a happier person, you know?
Yeah. Especially if you try to make a career out of it. If you try to
Yeah.
make money out of it, you want to go for lay people all the time. But, you know, it's nice to know that it can be appreciated by both. If you're doing if you do a magic special that's intended for laymen and it's well received by the magic community, that's a nice feeling.
Absolutely.
So I think you can hit both markets there.
You can.
But it
Sure.
is interesting that like a lot of my videos are just taking the mickey out of magicians, and then it's magicians that are sharing it, and I'm like, this is not what I thought would happen. I'm just waiting for Simon Cowell to share one. That would be the ultimate prize.
That would be beautiful. I mean, that could be some kind of off-brand secondary form of content for them, is sharing.
Have you
Doing
envisioned
a
an appearance on the show? AGT, an actual appearance?
Yeah,
You couldn't. No one would believe it's actually happened.
Well, I would do it
maybe.
and then put it on YouTube as a parody and claim that I didn't go on. Fool Us is probably the more realistic one. I do have a little plan there, but if I do go on Fool Us, I will be announcing it as a parody and then just seeing if anyone picks up on it as an actual appearance.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just
Because
ask.
that would be funny.
Ask them if you can do your performance on the stage, but with a green screen behind you, and be like, it's just for later.
That was my next question. Have you experimented with working with yourself on video on stage where you're interacting with the video live, something along those lines?
No, but I do think it's something that definitely could be looked at. With any magic show, when they have the close-up camera and they have it projected on the screen, I love all that stuff. That's great.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe there's like more you can do with that, like an augmented reality thing or
Right.
something like that. If I was going to do Fool Us, I would do something that could only be done on camera.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
and I'm saying this hoping that nobody nicks the idea, but I did a video ages ago where the whole thing was filmed in reverse, but you didn't realize it was in reverse until halfway through the video. And then once I reveal it's in reverse, I then do tricks that don't make sense when they're played normally, if that makes sense. So to solve a Rubik's Cube so if when you solve Rubik's Cube, you shake it, it goes from mixed to solved. When you play that in reverse, it goes from solved to mixed. So for that to be a trick in reverse, it has to go from solved to mixed, because in your head you go, well, that's it being mixed to solved. All these trippy things, like you drop something. Well, if that's in reverse, actually, he's levitated it into his hand. So the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. So something like that is magic, but only works on camera, and then gets away from this whole thing of magic's better in person. Well, it's not, because you won't ever see something done in reverse in person. You'll only ever see that on a video.
Love that. I'm now having the same feeling the last short I watched. I'm like, well, here's our new millennium of entertainers showing up to do the work. You know, it's we're here now.
I thought that Ozzy Wynn did a great job of using the video medium. If you guys remember his routine with he explains how the trick works, but then you get fooled because that actually can't be the method.
Yep.
And
We'll have to see that. I don't think I've seen that one.
oh, bro, I won't say any more than if you haven't watched it. Ozzy Wynn.
Is it on YouTube?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's Fool Us appearance, right?
Yeah. Big Fooler, and it's something he created for the show. So he knew the parameters of where cameras can be and how things will be perceived. Bloody great. I think that's who pioneered that really well was the guy, I'm not remembering his name, but oh my god, he had the headset on, so he was doing a story deck, but you'd see like it would register certain cards and it would start doing virtual reality amongst it. He did a TED talk. Someone in the chat knows who I'm talking about here. But he would show like the Two of Hearts, and then it would register, the headset would register that, and then like a woman would appear standing on the card, and then like he would do a rubber dub vanish, but virtually it would put a card back there. So really it looks like he's sitting a card down, and then it could virtually dissipate and disappear.
That's
cool. I love that stuff. It's crazy.
Oh my god. But that came out like 10 years ago, before we were really diving into the virtual world.
See, I'm flashed back into 1980 whatever when I saw Penn and Teller on Saturday Night Live, and they did this skit where their method was they were hanging upside down.
Yes, the classic.
Talk about
classic greats,
right? But doing this
and
live,
and that would only work on camera.
Yeah, exactly. So there's our visionaries, Penn and Teller.
Thank you, David. Marco Tempest is the magician I'm trying to.
I was going to say Marco. I should have just said it. The obvious choice. Good call, David.
Yeah. Well, if you do now, if anyone goes and looks up his stuff, it's from a while back, but it's like cutting edge stuff to what we would hope to try and do now.
Yeah, he did a whole series called The Virtual Magician, right? That's the name of the
Yeah, I think he went on a Got Talent show with drones, and the drones were able to fly around and make words and stuff. And
nice.
Crazy stuff.
I dig that.
Insane. But Jack, you're an engineer, so I feel like that kind of stuff is sort of in your realm, right? Like,
yeah,
it's
definitely
civil engineer, or what type of
nuclear engineer.
What?
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Hang on a second. A nuclear engineer. Can you explain what that entails?
It's funny because people in the magic community, when I say I'm a nuclear engineer, it's the same response as when I'm in the nuclear world and I tell them I'm a magician. Like, they're just like, you're taking the piss? No, nuclear engineer on nuclear reactors. It's as you picture it on The Simpsons with the green stuff flying about and everyone has 6 fingers.
Wow. No, the only one I can reference is Chernobyl, but that's not a great reference point because I just watched the series.
That's a good series. That's a good series.
So it's horrifying, but it's good.
It really is.
Yeah. We'll picture that if everything didn't go to shit, basically.
So if they had you working there,
yes,
it would be better.
Yeah, and there'd be a lot more. They'd have magic tricks at dinner time as well. They'd just be happier.
Is that so? Are you actually working in a nuclear plant?
Yes. Yeah. I can't there's only so much I can say, obviously, but yeah, I work with the fuel, and I work on the nuclear reactor. So as you can imagine, it's quite. This is where it's like you do a full day there, you come back home, and it's like, right, now we're in creator mode and let's make some videos. It's 2 very different worlds. Which is interesting.
That explains why you have such a tan in the UK, because you're working around nuclear energy all the time.
Pure alpha radiation, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, the problem solving, it seems to be a natural tie-in there, right? Because there's got to be a lot of that going on in your work.
Yeah, well, I think that's true for any engineer or scientist. Like a lot of magicians develop that interest of wanting to know how things work because they've got that engineer mindset, or this is a puzzle that needs solving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of linked. Like it's a little bit. This is where magic kind of touches on everything. Like we've mentioned before, it touches on the art stuff. You've got video production, but there's also like this scientific side to it. Understanding psychology, understanding problem solving.
Yep.
That's all. Magic encompasses so many different things.
Yes.
So, which is why it's so easy to get obsessed by it, because you've got all these different mediums that play into it, and if you're half decent at all of them, your magic will be amazing. And I think that the engineering stuff definitely, like, I would recommend any magician sort of, if you've never really looked into science and engineering, get into it, because in fact, get into any sort of medium like that, because it will strengthen your understanding of how the tricks work and how you can make them work and how you can come up with new stuff as well.
Then you have a good job. So when magic doesn't pay the bills, you can go feed your family.
Exactly, yeah. And having 6 fingers from the nuclear radiation does help with sleight of hand. There is that.
Yeah. And if you can attract metals like a magnet, you're sorted. You don't have to learn the muscle pass.
Yeah. But yeah, 2 different worlds. It is funny how different they are. But I think it's healthy as well. If the only thing you do is one thing and that's all you become obsessed by, I think it's healthier having a few different things, because they all...
Good advice.
It makes you a more well-rounded person as well.
Yep. It sounds like they also liked hiring you because you're a magician, so your job is to keep secrets. And it sounds like that's what you have to do at the power plant as well.
Magician's Code was on the CV.
Yeah.
They didn't actually know I was a magician, and then just like ran halfway through like my career, I just started doing magic tricks at dinner time, and then it's like, oh my god! So now, yeah, go and do some magic tricks. Whenever we have like new people come and visit, right, Jack, you go sort them out with some magic and get them in a good mood.
It would be hilarious if you're like, oh yeah, go see Jack. Jack's been working here the longest, and you're like, oh, how's it going? Yeah, you can do that too after 10 years. You start doing liquid metal, like bending the forks and everything.
Yeah, you'll get used to it.
Yeah. You'll do that after year 3. Don't worry.
One of these things.
Yeah, or you start popping out like the D lights, like, sorry.
Yeah.
Trying to wear that off.
This is going to be me tomorrow now.
This is a whole show.
Yeah.
You need one of these, Jack. Whoa.
I don't think we only heard the Funkin' Ring.
Imagine a 6-foot stream of sparks like a quality Funkin' Ring would have produced.
Yep.
I did a video today, which I ended up scrapping. I shot this damn Funkin' Ring off about 50 times. Nothing like shooting a Funkin' Ring off 50 times and then scrapping the project you shoot. But yeah, I think this thing's lost its juice. Did you ever get one of did you ever get one? Oh, there we go. Did you ever get a Kevin James one that was like an automatic? Man, I wish I had today. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know who makes a good one is Daniel Sylvester. He's got one that just goes. It just goes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the one Kevin James sold. I think it is. I think that's what Kevin James was selling is Sylvester's.
I believe it.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Jack, I think that could be a whole character arc for you. Is a nuclear magician.
Jesus, yeah. That's never been done before. Probably for good reason.
Probably. Probably. All right.
I'm looking forward to the busking video. I can't wait to see that, Jack.
Absolutely. Before we go, anything you want to add before we depart our fellow magicians here?
Shopify, NFT for Doug.com next week. Get on it.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.